Good evening, folks, and welcome to day 4 of my 2020 Craft Beer Advent Calendar Gold Medal Editions. And basically what it is, it's a advent calendar like you had when you were a kid, but instead of a chocolate behind every door, there's a beer. What more can you ask for? As I said, it's day 4. So far I've had a Chicago Pale Ale, a quadruple, and a Dunkel. So don't know what's in store for today, but we'll find out in a second. Just give you a quick background. This is done by Craft, who are called Canadian's premier craft beer importer. As I said, 24 beers for the first 24 days of the month. I think there's 5 different countries, mostly Americans, but also a Australian, a Belgium, New Zealand, and a United Kingdom. Different styles of beer, different strengths. I had one, I think it was 9.5, and the one yesterday, actually, there was no markings on the can. I checked online and I think it was either 5.4 or 5.6, so pretty well average. So we'll get right to it. Day 4. Up here. I had a really hard time opening this up. I just want to move this out of the way a little bit. Let's see what delight we have today. So I have, the beer company is Tempest Beer Company, and it is called Gatecrasher. It's an English style IPA, an Indian Pale Ale. Give you a quick background. Basically, pale ales have been around quite some time, but at the time the British were in India, and the problem they had is they were bringing, the English were in India, and they had lots of troops there. So they kept trying to, send the troops beer, as you would. And the problem was the beer was going bad before it could get there. So what they did, they added extra hops. And the hops actually added as a preservative. So when the beer arrived in India, it was still fit to drink. So that's how Indian Pale Ales came about. 6.6% alcohol. It's American beer. And let's see, it says Gatecrasher gets into the sold out show without a ticket. It doesn't have to shout for people to listen. It arrives fashionably late but closes the place down. Our Indian Pale Ale stands apart from the bitter crowd and entices with bountiful aromatic hops and a touch of malt sweetness, proving there's more than one way to crash a gate. And if you think you're hearing a cat in the background, this guy has made an appearance in the past. And for whatever reason, we can be home alone, nice and quiet. As soon as I start talking, doing the video of his home, he's going to make an appearance. So this is spaghetti, 20 odd pounds of pure cat. All right, I'm going to give my glass a quick cold water rinse. All right. I have a glass rinser that I use. I have a couple new followers in the last couple of days. I think it's people who are following the Facebook group for the Beer Advent Calendar. I think I have one person out of Red Deer, Alberta, one out of BC. A couple more I'm not quite sure where from, possibly Australia, but I'm not 100% sure. So if you want to follow me, by all means, Facebook, Beer Rating with Sean Connors, and they'll link you to all the videos on YouTube, but you can also subscribe to the YouTube channel. So if you get a chance, by all means, check it out. Alright, so Indian Pale Ale, I know it's going to be hoppy. And once again, full disclosure, I'm not a big IPA person. I don't mind them, but it's definitely not my go-to beer. So we'll see how this one is. Alright, so typical, golden color. It's definitely not clear. So I'm assuming it's maybe unfiltered. A little bit ahead. And it is strong hop flavor. So if you like a hoppy beer, you're going to like it, I think. So before I give it a taste, I'll show you the can. I try to do this every video if I can. See if you can see it there. I'll just go around. As I said, the company, Tempest Beer Company, Gatecrasher, English style IPA. So there you go. Alright, so basically I'm going to give it a taste and I'll give it a rating out of 5. And my ratings, as always, are out of 5, so I either give full ratings or half ratings. A 1 would be a drain pour. Don't like it, can't finish. I'm literally going to pour it down the drain. A 2 would be, yeah, I'm not a big fan, but I'll finish it. I don't want to waste my beer. A 3 would be a good beer. A 4 would be a very good beer, and a 5 would be the best beer ever. And these are just my personal preferences. All right, so let's give it a taste. Typical IPA for me. Not a lot of aftertaste, and I like that. What I mean by that, a lot of beers, especially ales, I find you'll take a sip and the flavor will just stay with you. It lingers. I'm not a big fan of that. And this, it's pretty strong for an IPA, like strong as in hoppy, but it's not lingering for me. But the aroma, for me personally, I find it fairly strong with the hoppy aroma. In all honesty, that's not bad. I mean, as I said, I'm not an IPA drinker. I don't mind them, but it's definitely not my go-to beer. A lot of them I just find way, way too hoppy. And it's funny because this one, as I said, the aroma for me is very hoppy. But the flavor is hoppy, but it's not one that lingers and stays with you. So for me, that's a plus. And as I said, all these beers are gold medal beers. And what that means, basically they've won gold medals in different festivals. It's whether it's the Great American Beer Festival, the World Beer Cup, or the Australian International Beer Awards. I'm getting that right off the box. Just seeing if it says when this one won. No, it doesn't say. It's from Illinois. No. Independent craft brewery, but it doesn't say when it won the award. So I'm assuming that's either the Beer Cup or the Great American Beer Festival. Alright, so a rating. I think I'm going to give this one a 3.5, so that's in between a good beer and a very good beer. And like I said, I'm not an IPA drinker, but I try to come into these without a bias. And knowing that I'm not an IPA drinker, I take that in consideration. But for me, I don't think there's any IPA that I actually go out of my way, buy a 6-pack or a dozen. But if somebody gave me this one, or if I was in a bar and they had it and I got it, it's not bad at all. So I think it's definitely worth trying out. If you're an IPA drinker, by all means, check it out and let me know what you think. So you go, folks, day 4. Hopefully you can join me tomorrow for day 5, and we'll see what it brings. And as I mentioned, feel free to follow me on either Facebook at Beer Rating with Sean Connors or subscribe to the YouTube channel. Until next brew, as always, enjoy responsibly. Cheers.